Sit back and relax as today's program guides you through all things pop culture and the deepest corners of the internet. Warning, may cause brain rot.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Brain Rot. I'm your host Maya, and today we're gonna get into it, but it's gonna be a little bit cozier. As you can see, I just have my blanket here, and I'm just like doing a chill episode today, kind of like slumber party vibes. And I just wanted to update you guys on my life, talk about some of the current issues that are happening in the world, and just share some story times and hang out like friends, because that's pretty much what we are at this point. I'm trying to be consistent and keep my episodes out every week. So even when I feel like there's not a huge pressing thing happening, I still want to hang out with you guys and vibe and share my thoughts and opinions on everything, I feel like that's what podcasts are these days. And my favorite ones are just like conversational. And so it's just nice to have company sometimes. And I really look into my camera and I see you guys looking back at me. Or I can just feel the energy if you're just listening in. What really comes to the top of the mind for me right now is that I just booked a flight last night to Mexico. I'm going for another trip, which I'm so excited about. I just really feel like I needed a vacation. I didn't go anywhere last year except for Vegas with my mom, and I didn't like book anything necessarily myself to do. That was just like vacation vibes. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys know I've been to Mexico before, but this time I'll be going to the West Coast instead of the Cancun area. And I'm excited. I'm going with my friend Jill, my friend Olivia, and Emma. And Jill and Olivia were both, or currently are, roommates of Emma. Jill used to be, Olivia is now. So it's kind of funny that way that things have happened. But I'm so excited. I want it to be the kind of trip where I get the best of both worlds. Like maybe go out one night. We'll be there for like a Friday and a Saturday, but I think maybe we go out on the Friday and that's our like going out night. That would be fun. But the rest of the time can be like just, drinks by the pool, going to the beaches. I want to do some like Pilates or yoga on the beach, maybe try some salsa dancing. And I want to take you guys with me. So I want to vlog all of that. And I'm just really excited because it's been really cold here lately, as I knew it would be. Always January and February are so much colder in Toronto than November and December. So makes winter feel extra long, especially since we don't have Christmas to look forward to. So this will be like my spring Christmas vibe. And I'm not going for a while, not for another couple of months. So I definitely need to get through the next few months, but I am inspired to keep going to the gym and stuff. And I don't know, I recently had like a health scare last week as well that kind of put me in this slump. And I've been in like a mental health funk for about like over a week now. So basically, I want to start doing more weight training, right? That's part of my resolution. And I went to the gym, and this happened to me before, but I just take the 10-pound weights and I start doing some lunges because I have like a foundation of like form and like how to do certain activities from Pilates classes I've taken. And I wanted to apply more weight to them to build more muscle mass, right? As you do. But as soon as I start doing the repetitions, I can feel my blood rate rising. And all of a sudden, I start getting this tension thunderclap headache on the back of my head on the right side. I can like feel my blood vessel like pumping out of my head. And I feel like if I keep going, like something's going to explode back there or something. I'm going to pass out or black out. I just feel nauseous. It's just like not a good vibe. I hope you guys didn't hear that Snapchat notification. But yeah, not a good vibe, not a good vibe. And I had to just stop. And I was very frustrated. And I was kind of like, well, clearly I'm having some health issues here if I can't even lift a 10-pound weight and do some simple exercises. So I booked a doctor's appointment. I'll be going next week on Tuesday, I think. So I'm just going to be checking in to make sure everything's good, maybe get my blood pressure checked. And I think it could be something to do with my ears. I've been having like issues when it comes to like my jaw and my ears and that like canal that connects them. So like maybe the pressure is like building and causing like migraines and things. I don't know, but I just want to get it checked out and looked into. But it put me in this slump and I've been like staying up late every night, waking up late, and just not accomplishing things the way that I want to accomplish them. them and just like getting in my own head about it. But as soon as I like step out of my apartment and go and hang out with friends or just like events or opportunities, and then I start to feel like myself again. So sometimes recharging is so important, and recharging can mean like hanging out with people. I feel recharged after I see people. I don't feel recharged when I spend time alone. Isn't that interesting? I guess that could check out for me being like an ambivert and like needing that like extroverted moment to just kind of feel like I'm enjoying life, you know? Now, a really pressing, serious concern that I want to talk about is the whole Donald Trump inauguration situation and how, like, in the first 24 hours, he has done some abhorrent things. Are we surprised? No. I've been kind of mum's the word about politics on this channel for a while because it can be very exhausting and trying to just exist as a human being and have your existence be questioned all the time. So I just try to like hum and haw and just live my life and pretend that these imbeciles don't exist. But it's absolutely insane the degree to which he's targeting minorities. He is deporting illegal migrants or immigrants or whatever. And he is also, by extension, causing so much harm to communities where there aren't even illegals. And he's just like, allowing the system to cause horrible atrocities and fear and all of this stuff. And on top of that, there's a lot of issues now with the trans community, as we knew there would be. One of his main focuses was to like make it legally only recognize male and female, and that has to correspond to conception. And so he's trying to erase transgender people in the legal system, which, as we know, can cause horrible issues for us as human beings. It forcibly outs us to everyone when we are forced to have our IDs reverted or not allowed to change them as we transition. And my heart goes out to all my friends in the US who are struggling with that. I think that's absolutely crazy. I could not imagine that happening in Canada. Obviously, we're having a bit of a conservative swing as well here, but I just don't think the people of Canada would stand for something like that. At least I pray and hope they wouldn't. I think across the boards, it's such an overstep by the government, and it's such a ridiculous rollback on the rights of the individual. I think that, we should have the ability to live safely and happily, and they're taking that away from us. And this is very, very reminiscent of Hitler's rise in Nazi Germany with the Nazi Party. And I know that we sound like we're, overblowing it out of proportion, but this is how things start, right? They start at a certain level. They start with the minorities, they start with the marginalized communities. They try to convince the general public that we are the scapegoat, we are the problem with society, we're the reason why you're not happy, when us existing does not affect your happiness in any way, shape, or form. They take, someone like, say, Leah Thomas, who was competing in the NCAA, and they take a freak example like that, that's like not commonplace, and how she was placing higher up or whatever. And they use figures like that in order to stoke fear about what trans women in life can be like, and how it could take away opportunities from born females or whatever. And it's ridiculous because that's just like not the case. Most people are nuanced and we're thoughtful people, and we could recognize, okay, if trans women really do have an insane competitive advantage or they have certain issues, we could work through them. We could say, okay, like, we understand that there shouldn't be, trans women who have gone through male puberty and reaped those rewards competing against certain cis women. Like, there's always nuanced discussion. It doesn't mean we have to ban all trans children from being able to compete with the gender they identify as or XYZ. You know what I mean? I think there needs to be more acceptance at a base level, and then we can achieve studies and really work together. Because I think obviously if there was, a huge surge of trans women taking over women's sports, we would be doing something about that and assessing the situation and making sure we do have protected spaces for women. Like, that would be something that would happen, but it's not really something that we've had to cross yet, because people are so quick to vilify trans women and to take one example, one anecdote, and say that all trans people will be horrible, and they just want to take away opportunities from women. And it's extrapolating something that's just not there, and that's not the case. And I think it's so sad and ridiculous. And you have people fear mongering and creating this narrative that trans women are a detriment to society, which just isn't the case on so many levels, and it really breaks my heart. So I think now is the time to really champion our people and our causes, and to stand up for what's right, and make sure that we stand together, because they come for the minorities and the marginalized first, and then they come for you next, And regardless of whether or not they're coming for you, I think you should have fellow compassion for your fellow humans. You even have people in the church pleading with Donald Trump, saying, come on, like, this is not love thy neighbor. Like, this is creating fear and stoking the flames of hell, you evil orange rat bastard. And that's exactly what it is. And, he's also old and probably senile. He's so set in his ways, and he'll do what he needs to do to virtue signal to the extreme right wing, which is just a bunch of orange, self-tanned freaks and blonde, bleached out hair, all hiding from their own internalized issues, whether it be internalized homophobia or whatever else they're dealing with. you know, it's always the Republicans and the conservatives and, the people that are trying to do the most that are hiding the most. That's what we all know based on apps like Grindr. So it's really not a shock to anyone. I think it's just fighting these demons and trying to make people love themselves more is probably the answer at the end of the day. But getting there can be so difficult because we have to deal with so much bigotry all the time. So I really hope that they aren't able to codify any of these changes and that they can be repealed soon, because it's absolutely ridiculous that they're coming for our passports, our birth certificates, and everything, trying to stunt our evolution as people. So crazy. F you, I don't stand for that shit. And it's serious. So last weekend, I went out to this rave. It wasn't the best rave ever. It was kind of disturbed, but it was okay. Like, the actual area we were in where the music was happening was kind of fun, giving like a subtle underground vibe. The music was very much giving like top 40 from the 2010s with like trap beats and EDM remixes. So I was kind of like not super vibing. I'm a little bit more into the underground pop vibe, a little more intense, a little more slutty, and a little more crazed and deranged. That's like the vibe I like. I might go to something called Pep Rally, which is in Toronto. I've just been seeing all the dolls and the girls and gays and theys going there. So I just think that would be maybe something more my vibe than this. And also, the bathroom at this venue was abhorrent. It was disgusting. It was 3 stalls, all gender, which is the only time I'll be like, this was not good, because like just men and women having to go to the same spot, like it was a little bit of a weird thing to me. But guess what? Everyone got along. It was fine. That wasn't so much the weird thing. It was more that there was no toilet paper, the soap was running out, and there was nowhere to dry your hands, and like just like the smells were disgusting. And like the men and women being in the same space actually wasn't that bad. Like, we had stalls. So it's like, we can get along, we can work together, we can be a community. But it was just like gross in there, like not the vibe. So I wouldn't go back to that organized event. I think it was by like Mirage or something. Just not my vibe. I didn't love it. It wasn't my vibe. But then we went out to this other place called Nomad, and they were doing a show there as well. A little bit more my vibe, but basically I was like more sober by the time I got to that place. And then this like 25-year-old guy like started hitting on me because we were like behind the DJ booth, and he was just like chatting with me and like trying to pick me up, like he was like, let's go to this other place called Early Mercy, let's do an afters, let's blah blah blah. And I was like, no, I'm good, like honestly, like I really don't know you that well. And then he basically was like trying to, get me to hook up with him, I would assume, like down the line. And I just said to him, like, oh, like, I'm not, like, looking for a casual moment. I'm not in my hookup era. But if you want that, like, go, like, find another girl. Like, go talk to someone else, because you're just wasting your time here if that's, like, what you're looking for. And lo and behold, he basically gets up and goes around and, like, talks to every other girl in the booth. And I'm like, oh, my God. I mean, I can't assume what he was saying to them, but I just got the vibe that he really was, like, looking for anyone that wanted to hook up with him. And, like, that just, like, spoke to me, like, spoke volumes, because in my previous podcast, I told you guys, like, when you're going out, like, and you meet a guy, like 9 times out of 10 he went out with the intent to hook up with someone, you know, like you're not special. And that was just that moment for me. I was like, you know what, this is a social experiment, and I was right. My hypothesis served correct. I will say he did end up circling his way back to me, and it was just like, you know, why? He wasn't even bad looking, but I just think maybe the desperation is just like a turn off. I don't know. But basically, he circled back to me, and then he asked me to kiss him, and I was like, I'm not kissing you. Like, I don't even know you. Meanwhile, like, if I was drunk, we all have had those nights. If I was drunk, I totally would have been like, you know, just, oh my God, you know, like, hook up if you really like someone. But because I was a little bit more sober, I was so able to just, like, not want to kiss him and not want any of that stuff. I was like, wow, like, sober me, like, is really cognizant of everything that's happening here. I wasn't, like, you know, so sober, but like I had sobered up throughout the night because I wasn't about to buy all those drinks at every stop we went to. Anyways, he did offer to buy me a drink, but they had like shut down at that point, like the bar, because it was past 2. Anyways, so he basically says the phrase to me, "You aren't drunk enough," like when I reject his advances. And I'm just like, wow, men. Like, what a creepy thing to say. Like, in the moment, it wasn't creepy because I felt like I had all the power, and, like, I knew that he, like, meant as in, like, we need to have more fun, like, you're so, like, uptight, like, you're not drunk enough. But it also could be read as, like, you're not easy enough for me, like, you're not, you know, receiving my advances easy enough, you're not drunk enough. And that's kind of the sentiment that I walked away with in that moment. And like, I'm sure he could be like a perfectly nice guy, and you know, obviously he was more drunk than I was, but just in that moment I was like, okay, like these are how these exchanges happen, you know. Pretty crazy. So I definitely, you know, I don't know, I was just kind of like reflective of that moment and honoring this new era that I'm in, this new, like, not hook up era, just, like, go out, have fun with your friends, dance, party, and just live your life. And, you know, if you meet the right guy who's going to put in the effort, then sure. Because this guy, sure, he got my Instagram, whatever, and, like, never put in any effort. I'll be, like, had a conversation and whatnot, but, like, never asked me out or anything. So it's, like, not meant to be, right? And that's what I tell myself. Like, if he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to, he should, and he's not. So you just have to let those people go and just move on with your life, and that's the way I see it. Sorry about that, you guys. Are back on mic. I don't know how much time I'll have. I really need to invest in like a podcast mic because having wireless mics that you have to charge is just such a nuisance. As you guys know, especially from my Twitch streams, can be such a hassle when the bass needs charging and then the mic needs charging, and it's just so annoying, and the battery doesn't last that long. So we're struggling out here, but we're going to make it work. So I'm not sure how much was on the good mic, but whatever. We're just going to plow through to the next topic, which is party planning. So I am planning a Valentine's party. It's going to be called Cupid's Cove. I'm going to try to document as much of the party planning as I can because I feel like it's so fun and I love the vibe and aesthetic of planning parties. I go to so many different events around the city and I just feel like I have so many tips and tricks to share of what makes a good party. So I might do a future podcast episode that's just kind of focused on that, but I am currently looking at different decor options. I want to get this glass wine bottle that's shaped like a translucent heart and make a Cupid shot in it that's like a love potion. And I want to get all these little heart-shaped shot glasses. Oh my goodness, we're having camera difficulties too. This episode is not a sleigh, but we're still gonna plow through and we're gonna put it out. We do have something being recorded no matter what, so we're just gonna keep on going with that, you know. Unfortunately. But yeah, so I want to have all these fun, cool things going on at the party. I want to like think of a unique activity. So if you guys have any like recommendations for like party activities, because we're all tired of beer pong and King's Cup. So if there's like another game that can involve a bunch of people at once, or like side games that people can do as activities like around the room and stuff. Like I thought of doing a scavenger hunt could be fun, with like QR codes and stuff that are just like little things hidden around the apartment, and then at the end you like get something, like maybe you get like a pink Lindor chocolate or something, and it's in like a, a hidden little chest. I don't know, like just something silly like that with like a riddle. I don't know if people would actually do it, but I think it could be cute. And what's more, I also have all the lighting going on, lots of pink. I got a smoke machine, and I want to have a bubble machine as well. I want to be like Cupid's Cove is kind of like this like serene heavenly space with a bit of like a vaporwave vibe and like a cyber new wave kind of techno-y, cute, vibey place that's also super catchy. And that's just like the energy we're going to be serving. I want to be dressed as like a Cupid style look and get like feathered wings and just be like pouring people shots all night. Like that's the vibe. That's what we're going for. I think it's going to be a girls and gays party, but I'm not 100% certain because like I'm always fine if people want to bring the +1 and have it be their partner. Like it's not a big deal to me. So I don't want to say like no to anyone, especially because the more the merrier. That's what I always say. So that's the vibe, and I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited to see what happens with that party. Maybe we'll do like a whole YouTube video, like OG YouTube vibes, just be like, this is me setting up for my party. And it's going to be super, super cute. I've already done like a Partyful invite, which is a cool app that you can use to organize events for you and your friends. And I think it's so much more convenient than having to like, tell everyone individually what the vibes are. You can just like send them the link to your Partyful, and they'll know who's attending, what the vibes are, and if they can bring anything, and they can like send messages through there. So I'm really on that Valentine's vibe, even though I'm single and I'm not dating and I'm like just in my like self-love era. I think that's what Valentine's can be for us, obviously. And so I'm just very into that, and I love the aesthetic. I even got my nails done all cute Valentine's-y, and I don't know, I just love the aesthetic so much of Valentine's. I think it's so cute, and I hope we manifest all the best loves in our lives, whether it's for ourselves or someone else or meeting that perfect soulmate, because just becoming more in tune with yourself and who you are as a person is a stepping stone to attracting that energy to you, rather than feeling like you have to search under every rock and finding all the creepy crawlies. Today's episode's a little bit short and it was a little bit chaotic in terms of content and stuff, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm also going to consider doing a book club episode soon. I'll let you guys know about the book that I'm going to do in the next episode. And if you're interested, let me know, because last year we only did one book and I want to do more. I think it's really fun. And this time it's not going to be so cliche, spicy fantasy novel vibe. It's going to be a little bit more intellectual, and I just want to deep dive a little bit more into like the psychosexual and psychological endeavors of certain characters and stories and things that make us question society a little bit more, rather than just like far off fantasies that are simulations of romance. So that's my vibe, and I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day, whatever you're doing.
Special thanks to Brain Rot producers.